All right, we are live. Welcome back, everybody, to the channel. It's great to see you, and I hope that you're getting some very, very important value out of our course, out of our coaching. And of course, it is free. So, we're going to ask you to do one thing for us, and that is share the video. There's got to be people in your life who could benefit from this information, and we want to give them a chance to see the video. Maybe they don't know who we are, Precision Elite Training. Maybe they've never heard of what we do, and they've been looking for us. And maybe you have too. So, you found us. Share us. And don't forget to subscribe. We do have a chat available here. And inside the chat, it is only for subscribers. So all you got to do is hit the free subscribe button and you're set to go. You can become part of the course, part of the conversation, and you can join us live. And we can even do some question and answer inside of the chat over here on the side of the screen. So in week one, those of you who've already watched it, we're going to highly recommend for those of you who didn't, go back and check it out. All right. And it is all about cleaning up your environment. If you're going to succeed, you've got to be in a place you can succeed from. You can't make that success and that new change in the place that damaged you. Okay. There's too many triggers in that environment. There's too many things that you still hold association and anchors to. Time to break the chains. Clean up the environment. Week two, we talked about the 3 pillars that are going to move forward for you. So go back and watch episode 2, where we coached on the 3 things you're going to need the most. And that's your nutrition, and you're going to need your sleep quality, and you're going to need your exercise. Those 3 things. And we dive deep into each of those in episode 2. Today, I'm excited to bring you guys one more very important and probably what I think to be the most effective part of this entire journey. And it's something we call energy balance. So if you're with us and you've got your notepads ready, let's dive in. Okay, so welcoming you back to the channel and saying subscribe are my main purposes to get things rolling. Now you got your notepads, and we're now going to teach you about energy balance. So if you don't already know about energy balance, this is all going to be brand new to you. If you're very familiar with it, it's still time to reassess it and check things out. Okay, so what is energy balance? I've got some notes here. I'm going to make sure I read off of my notes so I don't miss any of the good stuff that I wanted to give you guys today. Okay, so some of it might get a little bit sciencey, and if it does, I apologize. I'm passionate about it. I myself lost 80 pounds when I figured out energy balance and how I could apply it into my life in ways that were fun and exciting. And that was like 25 years ago, right? So I've still been able to keep that weight off. And it's because of lifestyle and habits and control of energy balance. So once you figure this out, it's going to work beautifully for you. So anything that you consume, which would be food or drink, okay, is equal to energy. So I want you to write this down. Energy equals calories equals food and drink. Now you can write that in any order you want because they're literally interchangeable, and you're going to see how we use them interchangeably through this episode. So food and drink equals calories equals energy. Calories equals food and drink equals energy. You can spin it however you want. It's simply calories are a unit of energy or measurement. So when you count calories, you're counting energy, which also means more calories means more energy. But where's it all coming from? Food. So people always say, well, if I have more food, I'm going to get fat. Some myths and misconceptions. As we've proven with some of our clients already in our programs, increasing your caloric intake actually gives your body an opportunity to thrive. And from that, we've seen the greatest amount of fat burning, the greatest amount of opportunity for muscle to be built on the body. We've seen hormones finally regulate, not through starvation, not through fasting, and not through cutting calories from any restrictive diet. We've found that the biggest success has been in refeeding people who've been damaged and adapted. And we're going to talk about metabolic adaptation somewhere in the course today so that you have a bit of an understanding of some of these terms you might hear online. There's a lot of noise online, for sure. A lot of different influencers talking about what works for them. As I mentioned in previous episodes, there's a lot of people who look really good, really lean, really fit, really healthy, and they're promoting to you, this is what you will look like when you follow my plan or take my supplement or whatever it is they're trying to sell. And their narrative is to try to sell a product. My job here is not to try and sell you our product. Yes, we have courses at Precision Elite Training. I've been doing this for 30 years now. I've transformed myself, and I'm just sharing the information that's going to help you transform. I'm really happy that you're a subscriber. a follower of what we do, and I'm really happy to be able to be part of your life. And so thank you for letting me in. Today, as we talk about the calorie energy balance, we're going to talk about what's going to work for you. Okay. So these terms will be used interchangeably: energy, calories, and of course, food and drink. So let's go with energy in first. And if you're taking notes, write this down. Energy in is food and drink consumed, and that includes all of them. Okay. So if you're keeping track at all, everything you consume is going to count as calories. If it is labeled as 0 calorie, then there's a good chance that it's a non-caloric product, and that's fine. But most things have at least 1 or 2 calories in them because there's additives. So the only thing that's pretty much calorie free is going to be like water, right? Which is a very, very essential part of our diet. So we'll talk about water in some of our episodes upcoming because we do need to talk about hydration. But we're going to focus on the fact that anything you consume, energy in, is food or drink. Now, put this down. Energy out has multiple factors, multiple facets, multiple ways that you can burn the energy, use the energy, expend the energy. So if there's only one way to bring it in, which is your food and drink, and that's through consumption, then how do we get it out? Right? Because a lot of people are bringing in too many calories, too many energy units. But we'll talk about quality difference as well, because you'll always hear that argument: a calorie is a calorie. And it's as simple as calories in versus calories out. But there's going to be some caveats to that. And there's going to be some nuances that definitely apply in your individual situation. So this is why we have coaching, because I can then take individuals one-on-one or in a group atmosphere, but still focus on you and what you're up against in your journey, because it is different for everybody. But at the end of the day, I want you to understand that calories come from the food and drink you bring in. When calories out, you mark down metabolism. Okay, metabolism, we're going to put down that it's, and I'm going to give you some rough guidelines, okay? Just some rough numbers here. We're going to say metabolism can be responsible for up to 65% of your calories out, okay? Energy burned, energy out. Thermodynamic effect of food, so the TEF. Okay, so this is thermic effect of food, which we hear a lot of influencers talk about online. And the idea here is that it takes energy to digest food. So when you eat, you're actually using energy to digest and create more energy for the body. So there is a thermic effect of food. This can account for, again, roughly up to 10% of your total calories spent for the day. I'm not claiming these numbers are perfect. These are some of the numbers I've seen in my studies. So again, I want you to use these, as rough guidelines. So thermic effect of food up to 10% of your total energy spent for the day. That means that the more you're eating, the more you're actually spending in energy expenditure. So some of you are seeing the benefit of actually eating more. Okay. Here's the next thing. Under energy out, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which now means NEAT, or you'll hear this acronym used, NEAT, N-E-A-T, non-activity exercise thermogenesis. What that means is we're creating heat and we're creating calorie expenditure through things we did not plan as exercise. So as you see me sitting here today talking to you and my hands are moving, this is going to give me what we call steps or activity. So some of you might even have wearables that you can use, trackers that you can use. And it could be a pedometer on your ankle. It could be Fitbit on your wrist, could be Oura Ring on your finger. There's a lot of different ways you can do this now. Whoop straps are available. There's a lot of different products. And they're all good to use. We don't want you to get obsessed with them and addicted to them in a way that is detrimental. So if you know that that's a trigger for you, just like a scale when you check your weight, if you cannot have a relationship with that tool that encourages you and it benefits you in a good way, then I would say don't bother with that tool, because the tool is meant to actually give you some feedback and some data. And that's all it is. It's not emotional. This device on my wrist doesn't have good or bad feeling. It's not happy or sad. It's just technology, and it gives me some feedback. You can have the same thing on your wrist, but if your relationship with it is every time you look at it and you're not getting, let's say, your steps for the day that you set out as for your goal, and that makes you feel really terrible about yourself, then it's probably not going to be a tool for you. You've got to have better relationships with the tools that you're using. And understand that in our courses, we teach you how to have better relationships so you have a better understanding of why and where those informations are most valuable. This is why we really, really encourage you, not just with us, but with any coach that you can find who has a credible track record definitely get yourself some time investment with these coaches. That's why I wanted to come here and give everybody an opportunity to work with us for free right here on our YouTube channel. So I'm really excited again to have you guys joining in here, and thank you so much for being with me. So now we've talked about the neat activity. That will include simple things like literally doing the laundry, doing the dishes, moving around, sweeping the floor, vacuuming the house, walking from your house to the mailbox. Those aren't planned activities for exercise, but they are fidgeting and moving. So as I said, I'm sitting here moving my hands. I'm accumulating steps or activity. This is something we refer to as neat activity. And this can make up a large portion of your day. Okay, a lot of calories spent through neat activity. And then there's the one that everybody thinks is worth the most, but it's actually not. And that's exercise activity. The acronym would be EAT, EAT, exercise activity thermogenesis. And the idea behind that is that's your planned exercise. Okay. So that's going to be where you actually go to the gym and you work out. And we're going to dive into each of these expenditures today so you have a better understanding of each of them and how you can apply them to your life. Because we all have no problem eating. We can eat. Most people who are eating highly processed, addictive food, as I talked about in episode 1, you're having an abundance of calories and you don't even need to eat very much. People who eat clean, whole, healthy foods, one single ingredient on the label, the people who eat like that find that you can eat quite a lot and still not accumulate a lot of calories. There's a lot of nutrients in it, but not a lot of caloric energy. So certain items within our food can be broken down further into what we're going to talk about next week, which is macronutrients. But before we get to that, we're going to talk about the energy just in general that comes from whole food versus processed food. Okay, there's a difference there. This is where we say a calorie is not just a calorie. We all know that a Twinkie, could have 500 calories in it in just one Twinkie. Now, I could be wrong on that. You can check your labels. Maybe it's 300. But again, at the end of the day, it's a lot of calories of energy that the body can't really use and process. And it's causing you to have, inflammation and side effects in the digestive tract that are not benefiting you, let alone the sugar that's going to be coming in with these types of products. So again, we're not going to tell you, you can't once in a while have these little things that you might call treats. But at the end of the day, when you realize what they're doing to the body, are they really a treat? Or are you just taking an opportunity to have something that could be highly addictive and maybe even set off a trigger that's going to make you want more, because that's what they're engineered to do. And then you're actually damaging your long term. So people who are having, highly processed, highly sugar items, and then getting very, very addicted to those things are actually now science is showing direct correlation to Alzheimer's and dementia and diabetes on all levels. This is from kids all the way to seniors. And so nobody's exempt from this high sugar effect on the body. So whole foods, right from we always say from the field to the fork, try to get it without as many hands touching it as possible in between, right? So you're going to try and get it from field to fork in a straight way of it hasn't been tampered with, it hasn't been processed at all, and it's very whole food natural. So again, this is part of conversation in week 1 as well. So let's go back now to the ways we're going to spend things out. But I just want to give you guys a simple philosophy here that you're going to live by. More energy in than energy out will create weight gain. You can write these down. More energy out than energy in will create weight loss. So it's all about which way you want to move. Okay. But that being said, if you're trying to lose body fat, but gain muscle, it's very difficult to do them at the same time. You'll hear people talk about the Goldilocks zone, kind of being in that sweet spot right in the middle where you can keep some of the fat off and still build muscle. That's extremely difficult to do, and you're not going to see major improvement in either area. So what I would recommend is try to work on rebuilding your metabolism, because that, we said, was up to 65% of your total expenditure for the day. Here's the thing. Anyone following diets of restriction, following calorie deficit for too long have detrained. There's a metabolic adaptation and you've lost your metabolism, and it's come down to match that low calorie scarcity mindset, the starvation, and you're adapting to survive. So now you're adapting to a very, very low stimulation of calories, nothing coming in, no energy, and you've reduced and reduced and reduced. And yes, For short-term benefit, you can definitely see weight loss. But what are we really losing? Are we losing fat? Are we losing muscle mass, which is our longevity factor, our investment for life and for health? Could your weight loss, everybody's glorifying, I took this GLP-1 or I took this diet and I lost 30 pounds. Of that 30 pounds, how much of that was muscle mass? How much of it was actually body fat reduction? Okay. I mean, I'm not going to tell you take these or don't take these. I'm going to give you the information that I have, and I'm going to show you that you can make your own choice depending on how and where you're at in your journey. But if you're just getting started, always start with your gut health. Fix the problem at the root cause first. Don't look for magic pills, quick fixes, and diets that are claiming overnight success. If you really want that balance, it's going to take time. Lean into either weight gain or weight loss, but also lean into it for the right reasons. If you're going to lean into weight gain, which everybody seems to be afraid of, if I said to you, let's lean into the fact that we want to put on 5 pounds of muscle, would that not benefit you for strength, for mobility, for functional strength and confidence? Would you not look better if you had more muscle on your body? Even 5 pounds in the mirror would look incredible on your body. Also, there's a thermic effect from that muscle that's also going to contribute to calories burned for the day. And although it may be small, it's still going to help. So for every pound of muscle you build, let's just say you burn 50 to 70 extra calories per day just for having that muscle on your body. Wouldn't that make more sense that you should be continuing to look to build muscle instead of trying to starve yourself dry down to the fact that, yes, I lost weight and I can fit into this size for a few months until you eventually give in to the calorie reductions and the temptations and all the restriction you've been living in, and you say, forget it all, I tried it, it didn't work, and then you rebound back up again, most often with a slow metabolism at the same time. So imagine you've detrained your metabolism and now you decide, I'm done, I can't follow this diet, and you go back to surplus calories again and you start eating more than you're spending. Now we know that's going to lead to weight gain, but at the same time, the metabolism that was responsible for up to 65% of your calories burned for the day, it's detrained and it's doing very little for you now. And you're bringing in a surplus abundance of calories. Imagine how fast the weight gain is going to come back. And this is why people say, I rebound. Okay, that rebound is something you caused. But you've got to realize that these quick fix diets aren't the way to go. So I've got a lot of notes here. I'm going to break off in tangents once in a while, but I want you to really remember this. Energy in and energy out. If you can accommodate the direction of your goal, so if you want to put more weight on, look to put on more muscle. Look to put more water in your body. Get your body health up. All those things that you're bringing in are gains. And those are good gains. To see the scale go up 5 pounds is fantastic, as long as it's not going up with extra body fat, unwanted, unneeded body fat. Think about that for a second, seriously, because everybody's afraid of the scale. And I teach this to my clients all the time. We really need to have a better relationship with a scale. It's just an electronic feedback, okay? It's just data coming back as to how much mass is on there. If you want to lose weight, the only reason you should want to lose weight is to lose body fat that you have that is extra and above healthy body fat. Think about that. What are you really chasing if you're chasing weight loss? Most of you have a number in your head that you're thinking, this is where I need to be. The number is going to take me to the place where I'll be happy. I guarantee you, when you get there, you won't be happy. You might be happy for a few minutes, maybe a day. Maybe you put on an outfit and you take a picture, you look great, you feel great. Awesome. That's not going to last. And I'm going to guess you probably don't even feel great, but you've already convinced yourself that you do. It took a lot of starving to get down to that. But here's the thing. You're chasing a number. You're not chasing the outcome. You're not chasing the feeling of what it's going to be like when you get there. You're going to be so underfed and so starved and so lacking energy that you're going to say to yourself, I need to have more. I can't live like this. And therefore, you're going to get that rebound effect. How many of you know what I'm talking about? I'm going to ask you today to write yourself a little message. I will not chase weight loss because I want to see a number on a scale. I will chase body fat reduction. And I will chase muscle growth, exercise, activity where I stimulate the body to grow like I would ask my child to do. I'm going to feed this child I'm going to make it healthy. I want to watch it grow. I want to watch it blossom. I want to watch him or her graduate. I want to see them thrive in life. If you want that for your child, why in the hell don't you want that for you? Right? You got to want this for yourself. You can't just wish it. You got to want it and you got to do it. Okay. And I'm here to give you some of the hard truths and the hard love. But this is where my clients get the greatest amount of success, is because I'm willing to meet you where you're at, but I'm also honest with you. If you're doing the work, you'll see it. It'll show up in all the data, all the feedback. If you're not doing the work, it will also show up in the data and the feedback. And then you're not going to want to do the data and the feedback because you're afraid of what you're going to see. You should never be afraid if you put in the work. The evidence and the belief will be right there. Okay. But putting in the work can be as easy as understanding the calories in and calories out ratio and what we're trying to accomplish here today with energy balance. So let's get back to the point. And so, energy measured in terms of calories, if you want to change your weight in either direction, you got to find a way to create the imbalance between those calories in and calories out. So I think I've harped on that enough. You understand what I'm talking about. Food is calories in, energy coming in. Drinks are also energy in. So those of you who are absolutely on the alcohol bandwagon, we got the holidays coming up. I don't know what time you're watching this YouTube video, but you may be right around a holiday season where drinks are part of your social life. Okay. Maybe some of you, drinks are way more part of your life than they should be, but you realize that and you're getting help for that. And I really commend you for that. If you're not getting help and you're not willing to realize, here's the thing. You might be eating a perfect diet. You might be doing very well with your energy balance. And then on the weekend, you cut loose, you bring in drink after drink after drink for social purposes or whatever your purpose is. And you realize now, if calories drank are also energy provided to the body that the body's not able to use, you're storing extra unnecessary sugars, bringing in. And from alcohol with 7 calories per gram of, just that's more than proteins and carbs to the body. More calories coming from alcohol than even from food. The only thing that might outdo that would be essential fats. That's crazy. And we'll talk about that in future episodes. But here's the point. Alcohol can be an abundance. You might have a perfect 5 days of the week. And on the weekend, your alcohol will push you so far over with a calorie surplus that energy balance you thought you had is completely reversed. And now you're in a caloric surplus energy balance for the week that is much higher, and you're going to gain weight. And then you're going to say, but I'm doing all the right things. I'm eating right. I'm eating all the healthy foods. I've cut my sugar and all this. You're doing all those things, and then you're destroying it with a weekend of partying and bringing in a ton of alcohol. So can you, from now on, start to regulate a little bit and be a little bit more responsible with how much you're bringing in? And if you don't know what alcohol could be worth, or even what your foods are worth, then there's some value in finding a tracker that you could use just so you can journal a little bit. There's so many digital technologies today that will help you to get these feedbacks. For example, how much calories or how many calories are in the glass of wine you're having? But then again, how many calories are in the chicken breast that you're having? How many calories are in the 1 cup of rice that you're having? One item. Put it into a tracker, something like a MyFitnessPal or a Food Secret or whatever one you prefer and you're using. There's lots of them. Most of them are free to use. You can always buy premium upgrade versions. It's up to you. But find a tracker that you can use. It's not to say you need to calorie count. It's to say that you need to get educated, because every food has a different caloric energy exchange. You're going to eat the food, the nutrients, and what that food ate. So you're going to bring that into your microbiome. You're going to ingest that, and you're going to become, more in line with these whole foods and these calories that are coming from good food. If you're drinking processed, sugar added and highly addictive type, alcohols and drinks like that, then we have to really address that, because this is going to hold you back from ever seeing weight gain. Weight loss in the way that you want to. It will lead to weight gain most often, and it will lead not to weight gain for muscle benefit, but weight gain for caloric surplus that's causing body fat increase. And most of this will be down in your liver and kidneys, which we call visceral fat, down around the organs. Okay. So keep that in mind. You're only damaging yourself long-term for the sake of what? A little social gathering that you went way overboard and barely remember? Think about that, right? Let's keep you on track. It's okay to moderate, have a little bit for whatever reason, because there can be some benefit to having a drink with a friend socially and not overdoing it. doing just enough to say it was just for social and you weren't diving into a whole case or whatever and losing your mind and not remembering the night. So let's move on. Okay, so it's important that we get this energy balance right. And you're going to hear this. If you eat too much, you're going to put on weight. I want to stop that right there. The idea is that you're not going to gain weight by eating too much if you're eating the right things, if you're eating whole foods. Let's really think about that. Okay, a McDonald's burger combo you may find has 1,200 calories, but you could eat an entire steak, sweet potato, veggies on the side, have a big, big plate, big meal, and even maybe a small, yogurt type dessert afterwards with some berries and fruits and still not come anywhere near 1,200 calories. In fact, you might be around 500 or 600 calories, maybe 7 or 8 at the most. And it's all nutrients your body can use. So that's energy in, right? Noticing those differences. So if it does mean that eating too much would cause weight gain, right? Eating more in a surplus, then why is it so hard for people who are eating salads and eating, healthy foods to really get that surplus? If anyone's tracking out there, you know what I'm talking about. You can't just easily get that surplus. It takes work when you're eating whole, clean foods. The biggest benefit to this whole weight control benefit is the energy and the ability to spend it. So once you have energy, it's going to be hard to sleep if you don't spend it. So you got to get the spending going, right? So energy in, we already know that's the food and drink. We've covered that. Here's how to optimize the energy in. I'm going to give you 3 things. Write this down. Eat single food ingredients. Okay, the less ingredients, the better. The more you know about what's in your food, the packaged food, turn the label around, you will educate yourself. We talked about that in the previous episode. That's the first thing you need to do to optimize what's coming in. The second thing, slow down when you eat. Okay, give your body time to process. Let your saliva glands and your digestive enzymes that are in your body do their job. Eat slow and eat mindful. If you're pounding food down as fast as you can because you got to get on to the next thing, you're not doing yourself any favors. Yes, we want the calorie energy, but we don't need to be scarfing it down so fast that we don't even have time for your full signal to go off. Okay? Some of you already know about leptin hormones and ghrelin hormones. One tells you you're hungry, like the ghrelin says you've got a hunger that's going. When that hormone triggers off, it's going to tell you need to eat. But the leptin hormone tells you that you're full. So if you have a poor relationship and a poor health of your leptin hormone, you're going to find that you're never full. And that is usually because you're eating too fast. Slow down. That's point number 2. Number 3, if fat loss is the goal, avoid those drinks, those calories. And I'm not just talking about alcohol anymore. Here, we're going to dive into things like orange juice, grape juice, prune juice, like whatever you're having. You got to be real careful because there's a lot of sugar packed into one glass of juice. And you're going to say, well, that's fruit sugar. How many fruits did it take to make that one glass? Try squeezing one orange and see if you get a glass of orange juice out of that. Not going to happen. So how many oranges did it take to make that? And then did they even add more sugar to make it even sweeter and tastier to put in the package on the shelf? Process. They're engineered to do this. So be real careful because I know you're giving these to your kids thinking this is healthy. And if you want your kid to thrive, you should want yourself to thrive too. Get that stuff out. That's episode 1. Clean the environment. Fruit juices are not going to be the benefit if you're trying to get fat loss and you're trying to build healthy muscle. Let's get that straight real quick, okay? So write those 3 things down, and that's how you're going to control the energy in. Clean it up. Now, metabolism is the one we're talking about that controls up to 65% of the expenditure. Here's where the notes begin in metabolism. Optimizing your metabolism. We have to realize the first thing that's going to destroy it is lack of sleep and high stress. Okay, so we do have to fix our sleep for sure. If we're going to get a good metabolism, you got to get a good sleep schedule. But even more important, or maybe equally important, but I really need you to focus on it now, is something that everyone falls victim to because life is lifey. Life is full of troubles, problems. Everyone around you wants to focus on the negative. Stress. Write down that word and then put lack of sleep creates stress. Relationship troubles have to be addressed. They create stress. Overtraining. Those of you who are fitness fanatics and think, oh my God, I do 6 workouts a week and I'm doing some of them 2 times a day and I'm doing this and I'm running this and I'm doing here. I'm going to aerobics class. I got 3 kids I'm chasing all day long and I'm so busy. all you're doing here is adding more stress to an already stressful environment, which is your life. Most people have a pretty stressful work job and things like that. So keep in mind that overtraining is also stress and can be very detrimental to seeing weight gain or weight loss, depending on which way you're looking to move. Food intolerances can create stress. You know this as bloating in the gut. There's things you're going to hear about like small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, leaky gut, a lot of these autoimmune diseases. A lot of this comes from very poor gut health. And foods that are triggering that gut health to have these reactions, those are food intolerances that need to be addressed. They are creating stress. Fix those, you fix your metabolism. Okay. Problems at work, as I talked about, job and stress related issues, coworkers, bosses, whatever it is. You've got to look to improve those relationships and improve those situations. And if you can't, you might not be doing a job that's right for you. You might be doing a job that's bringing you more pain and suffering than it is reward. And again, at the end of the day, does every job out there pay? I think they do, right? So look for a new one that pays and you can start over. And I don't care what age you are, you can start over. You can find other things. So just keep that in mind. If it's ultimately killing your life and it's holding you back from being the best version of you, then that might not be the job for you. So work-related stresses can be addressed and fixed. And if they can't be, then you should remove yourself from the environment, which takes us back to week 1, clean up the environment. Okay. So the next thing on metabolism is muscle. Muscle is going to be really important. As we talked about, it can build a metabolism. So if you're not doing something to stimulate muscle growth, then you're not doing something to build your future and increase your metabolism. And you could be. And I want to empower you today to do that. So if you're sitting around right now, you got your notepad and you got a little set of dumbbells beside you, you could pick those up and do a few bicep curls. That's a signal to the muscle to get stronger. You could pick them up and press the shoulders. That's a signal to get stronger in these muscle groups. If you don't have weights and dumbbells, that's fine too. What about your body weight? Could you stand up and do some squats and just get up off that chair and actually move and do some squats? You're going to make those muscles work and you're going to fire yourself and a signal to the body that you're trying to get stronger. And we always think stronger means lifting more weight. That's not true either. And we can talk about that in your personal journeys in our coaching programs. But the thing is, it's not always about getting stronger by lifting more weight. There are many other factors that could mean you're making strength improvements, and they can come in many different ways, and we'll discuss those at another time. So if you want more help, always reach out, guys. That's what we're looking to do, is help the individuals out there who want it and need it and are willing to work for it. Okay. So optimizing the metabolism is to control these levels of stress in the areas I mentioned and to build more muscle, a faster metabolism. And it will make a slight difference. Of course, as we said, it's not going to make the biggest difference in the way of just metabolically. But when you think about all the things lean muscle will bring your life, when it comes to confidence and performance and longevity, and I mean, there's just so many things to think about. And I even talk to my clients about storage lockers. Muscles, when they're developed, become storage lockers for extra calories that you may have consumed, and they're now going to go somewhere better than your waistline. We got a big conversation to have there. So many weeks that need to be covered, and we're not going to be able to cover them all here. We're already at 30 minutes into the live. So folks, I'm going to keep moving on here. The thermic effect of food. Okay. Energy lost in the digestive process. Remember I said when you eat food, you break down food and use energy. So here's the tips. Write down to get the thermic effect of food better than you have it. Eat more protein. Up to 30% of protein calories are lost in digestion. If you don't know what foods are protein, you can look across the internet. There's a lot. We cover it all in our coaching, and we give you PDFs and documents and infographics that show you which are the best proteins, how much you should be having. We calculate it for you personally. We're not going to do any of that today here, but we are going to give you the information to say, eat more protein. And I don't just mean I think I'm eating more. You better get a tracker and find out how much protein you're actually consuming. Okay, this is really important for you guys. And we're going to talk about protein next week as we do the macronutrients. So if you're really looking to find out more about it and how to really implement it, next week, you're not going to want to miss that episode. The next thing is number 2, get enough fiber. Okay, so this is a rough guideline, but I have the women in the program usually in the ranges of 20 to 30 grams of fiber, and the men starting at 30 to 40. Okay, more important for men than women, and I'll explain all that in the coaching course. But if you are at least looking for general guideline, let's get fiber increase. And if you don't know where fiber is, again, you're going to have to look these foods up. But we have the PDFs, we have the documents, we have the coaching to guide you to make sure you're getting it. So that's how you're going to increase your thermic effect of food, is you're going to increase the protein and you're going to increase the fiber. Those two things are going to change the game for you. Okay. And so, of course, again, we're going to have to look at calorically still, because calories in and calories out energy, we still have to consider the balance, which we're talking about today. But you're going to have a balance to work with that's going to benefit you. So let's make sure you're getting it. Non-exercise activity, which is NEAT. Let's cover that real quick. How can you improve your NEAT? This is obviously calories out. How do we burn these calories out? Well, first thing is get up off your chair. Don't stay sitting. Even if you're at a job where you work and you're sitting at the desk the whole day, every hour, get up. Just stretch out a little bit. Get off the chair. Okay, we've been here for 35 minutes right now. So you push your chair back and you stand up, you get up, you move, and you go and you give yourself a little walk around the room, or you do a couple of squats, or you move your arms a little bit and stretch a little bit. Don't stay seated for too long. Get animated a little bit. All right? Move. And it doesn't mean you planned exercise. This is what we call NEAT activity, non-exercise activity. Okay? And so get up off your chair, add more activity to your life. You could park further from a store and walk a little bit more to get to the store. Right. And then, like I said, move around a little bit more, move your hands a little bit more, be a little bit more animated. And if you're saying, well, that's not me, I'm kind of sedentary. Hey, you can still get up off your chair and move. That's how you got in the chair in the first place. Reverse that process. Okay. Get up and move a little bit. And fun fact, if you were to stand up at work over the course of a year, you'd burn enough energy to run 21 marathons. Now, that's a statistic that I saw in print, and I thought I'd share that with you today. I don't know exact science on how true that is, but just think about that for a second. If over the course of a year, you were just to stand up and, basically work standing up, which a lot of people have started getting work desks that are higher, and you can do it, we call stand-up desks. Some people have little walk pads underneath, and they walk while they're working or whatever it is. Hey, think about ways you can move a little more, okay? Now, the next thing you're going to write down is exercise-related activity, or EAT, EAT, which is exercise that you planned. Okay, so NEAT activity is non-planned. EAT activity, exercise you did plan. These are your workouts. So how do you get these? How can I ask you today to implement and increase your activity through exercise? Using your muscles. Think squats, push, pull, lunge, deadlift. Okay, you're going to know lots of these from the gym world. People use these where they add barbells and dumbbells to make those movements heavier. But you can do these movements for yourself, and you can do these movements with your body weight. Okay, so if you haven't already started, you should be practicing squats. You should be practicing push. Push away from a countertop. Push off a desk. Push away from the table when there's a big plate of food and you've had enough. Push away. Put the fork down. Right? There's reasons that you can use quality push, and you can also pull things you love towards you. Right? Think about this. It can be used. It can be even a mental game. If you practice these little exercise activity snacks throughout the day, you're going to get a lot more activity in than saying, I'm going to do a 1-hour workout later today. And then you don't get to it because life happened. So think about that. Small injections of exercise through the day could lead to a more accumulated workout than the one you missed that you had planned a whole hour for. Okay? So the next one is, if you're writing it down, so we're talking about using your muscles more on that first one. The next one is rest less, which means you're getting work done in a shorter period of time. So just give yourself shorter duration times to get things done through the day. Okay, maybe you allowed yourself an hour to go grocery shopping. Try to go a little faster. Increase the time that you're going to be there. Push the cart a little quicker. Don't spend so much time strolling, and get a list. Get ready and attack it. Get it done. Right? Now that could increase your activity because you're going to raise your thermogenesis a little bit. You're going to get moving a little bit more. Taking less rest in between and around the things that you're already doing in your life. Okay? Less time sitting down watching long Netflix marathons. More times getting up and moving through the day. The next one, mix up your training. If we're doing exercise, you better get something, hold on a second. So mix up your training. The better you get at something, the less energy you use. So what I'm trying to say in that note is that if you're becoming adapted to what you've been doing, time to change it up. If you're no longer getting result, like say you've been doing 5 squats every day, let's just say in your exercise activity, you could now move to 6 squats and you will see improvement. That would be something new that your body can adapt to. And a lot of people use weights as this, I moved up 5 pounds or 10 pounds, but it can also come in many different formats. So mixing up your training, maybe you've been doing dumbbells for a long time, but you've never used rubber bands. You've never used TRX suspension system. And we're talking about exercise here, exercise specific to your workout. Change the modality that you're using, and you can see some really great results. Okay, we're almost at the end, folks. Thank you for sticking with me. The last one on the exercise activity is have a program and keep a log and a training journal. And this is so important. We created the Precision Elite Training app, and I'm not here to sell it to you, but you can get access to that for $20 a month. And you can actually access basic programming that you can use throughout the day. And then you can invest in programs that you want to use to change. And you can track it all within the app, which is super cool. There's a lot of apps out there. I don't care which one you use. You can try to find a free fitness app and start doing exercise through that. YouTube, there's tons. We've got live videos. You can follow along with me on YouTube and you can watch those workouts. But again, only do them so much to the point where you're no longer getting any response or any benefit from them. Then change the workout. And that's what it is. Change the modality, make it fun, and enjoy it. So that's how you're going to increase your activity. This is the end of the ways to spend energy. So remember, energy balance, energy in versus energy out. We talked about energy in being food, energy out being all of these variables we talked about here, from the metabolism itself to the thermic effect of food to the non-exercise activity or NEAT, and to the exercise activity or your workouts and your planned EAT, exercise activity. And so when you consider all the ins versus outs, you've got a lot more control than you think about how you can get food energy out of the body. Don't bring it in and not use it. Bring it in and use it to lose it. That's the key, right? So here's the thing: pitfalls of energy balance. I just want you to write this down. The body is the body is not a machine. It's a highly adaptable organism. Okay. So the body adapts. That's the most important part you need to know. If you've been starving and dieting yourself down, you've most likely adapted to that very low energy level. And you say, oh, I can get by. I had people tell me I can get by on 3 hours of sleep. It's not optimal, but your body's adapting to survive. I can get by on 500 calories. Again, this is not optimal, but it is going to adapt to survive. The body doesn't want to die, but you're not doing it any favors. If you think about it, what would you feed your kid in a day if you didn't want it to die? Right? And you know your kid's going to do everything it can do to stay alive, but you're still underfeeding it. So then you feed it a bunch of processed calories, and that kid's off the wall. It's got ADD, ADHD. It's all over the spectrum, and there's so much related to their gut health. And the highly processed corn syrups and sugars and things that you're giving them, and all these processed cereals and fruit bars, and it just frustrates me. I wish I could walk into every school out there and just give a seminar on how to feed your kids, because again, that seminar will transfer right over to how to feed you, the adult. But if you think you're doing it for your kid, you'll be smarter about it and you'll take it more seriously. The only reason adults take it serious is when they get medical reports where the doctor and the stats have shown them that your health is on the line here. That's crazy. That's the only time you take your health seriously? You've got a whole bunch of people you love who are counting on you, and that's how you treat your body? Think about that. You got to give yourself the credit for, I'm going to be the role model. I'm going to be the leader here. I'm going to step up. And today, Coach Lalonde gave me 3 things that I can really focus on that are going to help me, change the game, the pillars. And he also today gave me this energy balance equation. And I know that what I eat is good food, but I also have to spend. So get out there and spend. Okay. Very important. And lastly, guys, the key points that I want to leave you on right here is that you have to keep food quality and food quantity, okay, as part of your goal. Think about that. Adapt. Getting adequate protein and fiber are essential. Mix up your training. The body is highly adaptable, so change things up so you're not getting adaptation in your food or in the workout, right? And measuring the body alone is not accurate short-term assessment of success. So again, you might get quick fixes out there and the body looks like it's moving in the right direction. You got to keep working on this. It's a journey. Okay. The journey's there. You get to your destination, you're never fulfilled. You're going to want to chase something else. So enjoy the journey. Find ways that you can do it and enjoy it. And then next week, we're going to talk about the macronutrients that break down this energy balance, because inside of all the food and drink that you consume, there are specific macronutrients that are going to change the game for you. Some of them for muscle building, some of them for energy, some of them for digestion, all of them for success. So I'll see you next week.